Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and today we actually got the release date and the trailer for Star Wars Resistance Season Number 2. And I don't know about you, but I'm hyped as hell for this thing, right? I'm hyped as hell for this show because when I first heard about it, when I first heard about Dave Filoni coming back to Disney Animation to do a show about Star Wars, set right before the events of The Force Awakens and everything else, I was excited. And then the show's animation style came out, and it was a little bit weird, a little bit jarring. Very much anime inspired, but I wasn't too sure. I finally sat down and watched the whole season a couple months ago, and I really, really liked it. But it starts off a little wonky, as all of these shows kind of do when they're establishing the characters. But by the time it gets to the end of the first season, I would argue that you're pretty emotionally involved. You're pretty emotionally into everything that's happening, and you really cannot wait to see what happens next, considering where things are in the show in regards to The Force Awakens, what's going to be the future, so on and so forth. Now, with this new season comes, quite frankly, one major problem, and that is they're canceling it. They're canceling the show in its second season. This trailer here says to witness the epic conclusion to Star Wars Resistance. And look, here's the thing. I'm pissed off at that, to be honest with you. And the reason why I'm pissed off at that has everything to do with, I think Disney doesn't know how to run Star Wars. Really. They don't know how to run Star Wars. This is a show that they've spent clearly a lot of money on. Not only does the show look really cool, it got Gwendolyn Christie to reprise her role as Captain Phasma. They keep promising to do more with her character, but they haven't at all, period. Like, talk about the biggest letdown of this new trilogy has been Captain Phasma just getting the shaft. They brought back, Jason Isaac or Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron, actually for a number of episodes in the season. And from what it appears, even in this trailer, it's possible that Adam Driver might be back as Kylo Ren, although it didn't really sound just like him, so I don't know. But they've brought in some people from the movies, and they have definitely wanted to make this thing big. They've wanted to make this thing popular, and it's got a fan base. It's got a solid fan base, but they announced today, like I said, that they're canceling it. Just to give you an idea of how well the show is received, even on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at 92% average tomato meter from critics and a 75% average audience score from fans. So people out there do enjoy it. Maybe not everybody. The ratings, according to Wikipedia, were not the best. In fact, they never really seemed to crack 430,000 viewers through Nielsen ratings, but that's Nielsen ratings. How much of that actually applies to the Disney XD app, which is how a lot of kids are going to watch a show like this, or how a lot of adults are going to watch a show like this? So it's not necessarily the best metric for something. And you would figure that they would take a show like this and move it to Disney Plus, because it just seems to be in line with Disney Plus, considering that they're doing the Clone Wars revival, or they're doing the last season of that, and that's going to be on Disney Plus. You would just think that they want to move it over. But according to the press release here, it says that Star Wars Resistance Season 2 trailer revealed Kaz, Tam, and the rest of the crew aboard the Colossus are making the jump to Lightspeed for an epic second and final season of Star Wars Resistance. Season 2 will premiere on October 6th. Now, set amid the events of The Last Jedi and before The Rise of Skywalker, the story picks up after the harrowing escape from the First Order, as Kazuto Xiono and the denizens of Colossus wind up lost in space, pursued by Agent Tierney and Commander Pyre, who have taken Tam Rivora aboard the ship. In the enticing new trailer, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren himself makes an appearance, along with General Hux, Captain Phasma, and plenty of other familiar faces, alongside new characters, including a never-before-seen Hutt gangster, although that is... Yeah, that's in the trailer here. Where's that in the trailer? They show him in the trailer real quick. It's pretty like, I don't know if I can find it, but either way, it's just kind of like, oh great, another Hutt. I thought it was like, was it Zabo, the guy from I can't even find it. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, we've already missed it. But anyway, so they got a new Hutt coming in there, and it's like, all right, whatever, man. Okay, fine. But the thrilling final season promises to spotlight how even unlikely heroes can keep the spark of hope alive in a troubled galaxy. Now, the problem with this show is that it took place before the events of The Force Awakens, and it ended after the events of The Force Awakens. So clearly, the events from The Last Jedi take place a couple days later. And again, that movie's over the span, I think, of like 18 hours or something. So it's real short span for how the movie is. And then in the Rise of Skywalker is going to take place years after the events of The Last Jedi. It's picking up a couple years down the road. So this show is going to have trouble really trying to like keep a solid story flow going when the other story is going to be concluded. And so that leads me to believe that the only reason why that they decided to get rid of this is because they don't know what to do with the First Order. I really think so. I really think at this point a lot of it has to do with Galaxy's Edge. It's the financial investment into the $1 billion per park. Because they wanted to have the First Order versus the Resistance, that being the original Disney creation. That's what they're going for. But at the same time, it's like no one cares, right? People are upset that there's no OT, stuff going on, that there's no OG Star Wars happening. Instead, you got Kylo Ren, you got some First Order troopers, you've got some First Order officers, there's some spies, there's a Rey running around. But even though in the movies, we've never been to Batuu, we've never been to Black Spire Outpost, there's no canonical connection, theatrically speaking. I think in the comics they did. So they're trying to sell the First Order. They've been trying to sell you on the First Order for a long time. Don't believe me? Look up the 709 and look up at this. Just go to YouTube and type in 709 Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And then just look up anything involving the 501st. You'll know what I'm talking about. So no, they don't know what they don't know what to do. They don't know how to market it. They don't know how to sell it. And the story is going to conclude. And there's not going to be any continuation of this, I think, of this particular storyline after it. This is the end of the Skywalker saga, meaning this is the end of the Empire, the end of the First Order. So creating a show that was set before the events of the First Order, that was meant to tie in the in-between stuff, I think, between The Last Jedi as well as the Rise of Skywalker, those couple years, they're not even going to bother because the merchandise isn't selling. The merchandise isn't moving. Kids aren't buying it. They had a panel for this at the Celebration, and the panel for Celebration, it was mostly adults, but they had the cast there, and the cast is really excited to be in the show. And again, it's a good show. I completely support the show. It's just, you can tell that they cannot sell the First Order the way that the Empire could sell. You don't see people walking around with like Kylo Ren t-shirts. You don't see people walking around with the First Order insignia on their shirt. You don't see that. You still see Vader. You still see the Empire logo, or maybe the Rebels, or their logo. You don't see much in regards to people actually paying for merchandise with this type of stuff. So it makes sense that if merchandise isn't selling on an animated show, then you can see why they're not going to be doing much. Now, even at Disneyland, I did not see any Star Wars Resistance merch. I maybe missed it. I need to go back and look through all the footage I shot while I was there, but I don't remember seeing any Star Wars Resistance merch. I don't think I've seen any merch in stores. Not to say it doesn't exist, but it might just be in the different section. I'm looking in the adult section. I maybe look in the kids section. I don't know any of my friends who have kids who watch the show, but I have friends who are adults who watch the show. So we can see here essentially that it's like the show had an audience of less than 500,000, at least according to Nielsen ratings. And the show didn't sell merch. And the show is pitching or pimping a timeline of Star Wars that has become creatively defunct, that people don't care about as much. And ultimately, they've chosen to just wrap up the storyline instead of wasting more money. And you know what? Here's the thing. I get it. I'm not happy about it. I think the show is good. I think the show could fill in the blanks between the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker, and they could do that. But at the same time, I am ready, and this is sad. I am ready for them to move on. Not that I want Star Wars to be gone, but I'm ready to move on from the Skywalker saga. I'm ready to move on from this time period because we already know how it's going to end. It doesn't feel like George Lucas. And even though Dave Filoni is directly involved in Resistance, and it feels like Filoni, good storytelling, you can tell that they're looking to put this side of things behind. And they're going to want to put it all down to focus on probably the future. Look at this television shows on Disney Plus. You've got Cassian Andor, set before A New Hope. You've got The Mandalorian set after Return of the Jedi. Oh, what's that? Is it that 19-year gap in between the two films that they're going to spend more time in? Probably. Because people care about the Empire. People care about the fall of the Empire and what happens next. People don't care about the First Order. And that's what killed Star Wars Resistance. They couldn't sell it. They couldn't expand it. They couldn't keep it going. At least they're giving us something final, which is good. And I hope it's good. I'm looking forward to watching it when it comes out in October, and I'll definitely be talking about it a lot more. If you haven't seen it, I recommend giving it a shot on Disney XD. I'm sure it's going to be on Disney Plus when it drops in November. You should watch it if you like Star Wars. I recommend it. In the meantime, this is just another example of creatively bankrupting a property in order to maximize profit, but still not give something the chance to grow or put it in the right position for it to grow to gain that audience. A Star Wars show set on Disney XD at 10 p.m. is not meant for kids. To quote Kevin Smith once at Comic-Con, he says it's 9 p.m., time to put away the fucking puppets. That's kind of how you got to look at Disney XD. So, and the show's not even mature, so which is really weird. But anyway, I just want to put my thoughts out there. I'm not happy they're canceling it. I completely get it. I think at this point we understand it. But I do want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Please check out the, just, follow me on Twitter. Have a good day, guys, and peace out.